Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Hello and welcome to this episode of our show. This is your host, Keith Doherty. Today our special guest is top real estate agent Sam Williams of Coldwell Banker Schmidt Real Estate Company based out of Marathon, Florida. Sam has been in the business for 10 years. He is top 1% of all Coldwell Banker agents nationwide for the last 2 years in a row and top 10 sales associates in the entire Eastern region for gross commissions earned and Coldwell Banker's Presidential Premier Award last 2 years in a row. He has been in direct sales since he was 18 years old, so prospecting is something he started doing professionally for a living at a young age. He has been featured on national television via the FYI network on the Waterfront House Hunting Series Marathon, Florida episode. He has made the cut for Real Trends America's Best Agents ranked by state list the last 2 or 3 years in a row as well. To be included in the ranking, the agent must have closed 50 transactions with $20 million in sales volume and teamed 75 transactions with $30 million in sales volume. He has closed over 70 transactions in 2014 and 92 transactions in 2015. All right, with all that said, Sam, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Keith.
Sam, if we could start for our listeners, what led you into real estate? Was it something that you always knew you wanted to do, or did you maybe stumble into it?
I stumbled into sales when I was 18 years old. So I actually, I grew up in Oklahoma, but after high school I moved to Denver. And when I got there, I got into door-to-door sales. And it was my first day on the job. I just realized that sales was going to be something that I was always going to do. So that's just kind of how I fell into that. And I actually almost started selling in Denver. Got my license in Denver before I moved to Florida. But my mom and dad moved out here, so I started coming out here to visit. And as soon as I got to Florida, that was it. I knew I was moving here. So shortly after I moved here, I got my real estate license.
And what personal attributes, traits, or qualities do you think have most contributed to the success that you've had?
You know, I've always been a people person. You know, I've got the gift of gab. My dad's had it. My grandfather had it. So, I mean, I just kind of, grew up with, kind of in that line of work anyway. So I guess you could say a chip off the old block if that's, I'm Samuel Davis Williams V. So, I mean, I'm, my dad, my grandpa, my great-grandfather, all, kind of came from a line of that work.
All right, excellent, Sam. And do you think you could give our listeners an example of when your traits have played a role in your path towards success?
Sure. I would just say I've always been, kind of a people pleaser. So customer service is kind of something I've always been good at, and it's always been kind of involved on one job and pretty much almost every job I've had in one way or another. So, I mean, I just kind of have always been in that line of work, whether it was, start retail sales or working at my grandfather's store, my grandfather's sporting goods store, or, being a lifeguard when I was younger. I did all those kind of things. So it was always, with people and, just having to, keep them happy. So I just kind of call myself a customer service specialist, really, especially once I got into the door-to-door sales business. That was all about customer service. You only have a few seconds at the door before they're either going to listen to you or shut it. So, just trying to come across the people and selling your product.
Yeah, that's a tough. I mean, like you said, you got seconds there. You got somebody, especially. It seems like this day and age, door-to-door selling, it's like almost you want to open the door and there's going to be a shotgun there waiting for you. So it definitely seems like it's a very, troubling, or it's hard to do that, And like you said, you got seconds to kind of capture their attention to get them to open the door and actually, speak with you.
Yeah, I mean, and that's actually happened. I've had shotguns at the door when they've opened before. But, it's all about, just trying to relate to them really quickly. And, I think I've done that, and not being afraid to hear the word no, and just being able to keep going after that. Just if they do say no, you just got to put your head down and move on and get to the next door. It's all a numbers game, and if you kind of understand that, and you're not afraid to keep prospecting and hearing that, then you will usually come out on top.
Excellent. And can you talk a little bit about some of the adversities or trials that you've had to overcome in order to achieve your goals and have the success you've had so far?
Yeah, I mean, when I first started, it was tough. I mean, I started at the bottom of the market. It was 2007. The market had just crashed, and in the Florida Keys where I'm at, actually, we had just had Hurricane Wilma. So the inventory, everything had just been flooded. So not only was the inventory double than it had ever been historically. At the same time we had, the economy collapsing as well. So we were kind of double dipped in that sense. And so, I just remember the first couple of years, I didn't make a sale. I made 2 sales my first year, 2 sales my second year, and it was costing me money to be in this business. So it was really, really hard to keep going at that point. But I just, I had a really great broker and a really great environment here so I was around some of the other top producing agents in the marketplace, and that helped out a lot. And, just kept coming to the sales meeting and learning. And, I swear even then, the first 5 or 6 deals I put together, every single one of them were falling apart. But, just kept going and finally ended up closing a couple. And that third year in the business, I finally closed like 9 transactions, and that's when I realized and I kind of saw a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel there. And that's when even though I knew I didn't have the money to do it at the time, I knew I could, I was working at the restaurant in the nighttime as a server. And so I was in the office during the day and serving at night. And finally I knew for real estate to become what I wanted it to become, I was going to have to go at it full time, because this is just not a part-time job. And finally I just made the decision. I quit the restaurant, put everything I had into real estate, and it's just been uphill from there. I haven't really looked back.
Excellent. And what kept you going despite all these obstacles? Like you said, you started, the market crashed, you're struggling the first few years. Why didn't you give up? What kept you going?
Well, I knew I was good at sales. I was, the top sales agent at the company that I was with doing door-to-door sales, and I knew the first day that I knocked doors that sales was my thing. I never understood. I was from a small town in Oklahoma, so I never really understood like sales was this huge industry, this huge profession, until I knocked on that first door, and I made like $300 or $400 in 4 hours that first day on the job. I wouldn't quit my job at JCPenney's that same day, and for the first, for a few years here, it was really just the environment that kept me going. My broker, he trained us, so we were literally getting an education on everything in the marketplace, from the building process to, just inventory and market statistics. He kept feeding us all these numbers and information and statistics, and after a while, you just kind of starts to sink in a little bit, and you're able to, at that point, tell the story of the market to your customers, and that and knowing the product that you're selling really kind of helps you communicate with the customers and gets them to understand that you know what you're talking about, and to buy through you or sell through you.
I guess kind of looking forward, what is your vision for your career, say, over the next 5 years?
I'll be doing this for the rest of until I retire, in my view. This is my 10th year in the business, and my goal this year was 100 transactions. I did 90 last year, so I upped that by 10. Right now I'm maybe slightly behind. I think I'm on about 27, 28, something like that. But we're just kind of halfway through the second quarter of the year, so I still got plenty of time, and we're we got bunch of stuff on the board right now. So real estate is what I plan on doing until I retire.
And I guess kind of on top of that, what do you feel is the best way that you market yourself as a real estate professional so you can have continual growth?
Again, I go back to the customer service. We work as a single agent. We are a preferred single agent company, where most of the companies in our marketplace are transaction brokers. These guys are just facilitating these transactions. We actually work as single agents, so we're actually able to provide our customer a higher degree of representation. So they are actually, we have to, by law, in a single agency role, hold their interest above all others, including our own. So that just gives, we're actually in their corner representing them versus just facilitating the transaction.
I think when it comes to real estate agents, there's sometimes a lot of the market perception, the general consumers looking at agents, there's misconceptions, there's myths. So what do you think the biggest misconception that people have about working with a real estate agent is?
I think a lot of them think that we don't really do that much, and that we don't, communicate that much, so I try to, those are some of the biggest complaints that I hear from people anyway. So, I try to, or I put my sellers especially on a once a week callback to communicate with them, let them know what's going on, how many showings we've had, and they see the advertising dollars that we're spending. They see the amount of people that we're putting through there. We give them a showing report every week, and I think they understand that we actually are not just putting them on the MLS and waiting for the phone to ring, that we're actually out there proactively trying to make the phone ring ourselves.
And let's say you get a call from a family member or a friend. They're in another state where you're obviously not licensed. They want to sell their home. What advice would you give them about selecting an agent that could best serve their needs? Kind of how you make sure you take care of your people. What would you tell them to look for?
Basically, I would definitely want them to tell them to look for a full-time listing agent, not a part-time agent. I mean, this real estate's a full-time job. So, I mean, to have these, and there's so many people that have a license and they just kind of do it part-time or on the side, or if their friend has a property, they can get a listing. But for someone to actually be able to get you the highest and best possible price for your home, which was ultimately what we're trying to do for our sellers, is, you really have to know the market. You have to know who your competition is at the time that you're entering the market, so that you can place that property as best as you can inside that competition to show the most value in the eyes of the buyer to make it the next property sold. So first of all, I would try to get a referral by referring an agent that maybe was in the Coldwell Banker network, or maybe that was in my coaching network. That would be my first route. And then second, if I couldn't find one of those, I would probably vet a few agents myself and just make sure that, I usually call a broker at the office and say, hey, who's your top agent in that marketplace, who's full-time, specializes in listing and selling property in that area. And I just try to make sure that they have the most knowledgeable professional possible for their market area.
And if somebody wants or they're looking for real estate advice or an agent, obviously in the Marathon, Florida area, what's the best way that they can find out more information about you and how you can help them? You could go to my website, bestfloridakeysproperties.com.
From there, that'll be my contact info. But really, just give me a call. Give me a call, and I'm happy to talk to you about real estate. If you're not in my area, I'm happy to help you find one in your area, and send me a call or an email, and I'm happy to talk to you and help out any way I can.
Excellent. Well, Sam, we obviously want to take time to thank you for coming here and sharing your real estate experience with all of our listeners. And if you want to learn more about Sam and how he can help you, below this interview we'll have a link to his site and any other contact information we have for him. So if you're definitely looking for an agent in that area, the Marathon, Florida area, you can reach out and see if Sam would be a good fit and can help you out. So with that said, everybody, until our next show, have a great day, and we'll talk to you all soon.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.